Kai Mueller is the Executive Director of the International Campaign for Tibet in Germany and a longtime friend of Tibet. He is with us in the studio today to talk about his visit to Dharamshala this time. Hi Kai, thank you for being here.
Hello.
So you have been to India and to Dharamshala for over 20 times, mostly for Tibet and Tibetan people. What is your purpose of visit to Dharamshala this time?
Well, this time we are meeting. I'm accompanying Member of Parliament Michael Brandt here for meetings with the exile government, with the exile parliament, and of course we're going to have a audience tomorrow with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So this is an important time, I guess, to be in touch with the Tibetans here. And that's the purpose of our very short visit, but a very productive visit already, I should say.
Okay. So over these several years, you have met with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and just recently you have met with Sikyong and the Member of Parliament in exile. How does these meetings help in your activism for Tibet?
Well, of course, His Holiness, as he says, is just a simple monk, but he's not just that. It's really a strong understatement, but he represents Tibetan identity and the Tibetan history and the Tibetan people and the Tibetan values. So it's very important to keep connected and to meet His Holiness the Dalai Lama, because he represents all that. The exile government and the exile parliament, of course, politically represents the Tibetan people. It's the legitimate institution of the Tibetan people. And I think they do a tremendous job under very difficult circumstances to bring forward the Tibetan cause and to maintain a democratic political system, which is something very important in the days of our time.
Right. So the International Campaign for Tibet has been advocating for Tibetan people for a very long time now. ICT Germany is no exception to that. I would like to ask, what has been the latest development in terms of activism, and what has been the impact like?
Yes, ICT works on very different fronts. We are working towards the United States government, of course. We're working towards the European Parliament and the European institutions. We work towards European states, but also towards the United Nations. For doing so, of course, we are providing recommendations. We are providing analysis based on research. Just lately, in December, we have published a very important report on hydropower in Tibet, detailing 193 hydropower sites either being planned or under construction or already operating. We would like to detail and document vis-à-vis stakeholders, political decision makers, what kind of policies are implemented in Tibet, which have a hugely detrimental effect on the rights of those affected by those mega projects. And we want to spotlight what actually, of what kind of nature the Chinese so-called development, economic or social policies are in Tibet, what kind of implications this has for the Tibetan culture, for Tibetan identity, and very concretely for the rights of those who protest against it. For example, those who speak out in public against any corruption, wrongdoing, environmental destruction, who are being persecuted, detained, and sentenced to prison. And this is what we want to point out recently on hydropower and all its effects. But we're working, of course, on many other fronts. We have co-organized a rally in The Hague just recently for March 10, where our chairman, Richard Gere, has been participating. Also very important that we do this.
So, as you said, you have quite a few projects lined up. Do you have any plans of collaboration with the Offices of Tibet in Brussels or Paris or Geneva?
Well, that's ongoing. I can speak of our collaboration with the Office of Tibet in Geneva, which is very fruitful. I think the United Nations is a very important forum for Tibet-related issues. And it is very conducive that the exile government, or that there is a Office of Tibet in Geneva to work towards the United Nations entities. The UN is more than ever, in my view, a battleground between democracy, justice on the one hand, and dictatorship and autocracy on the other. So this is an important space where Tibetans claim space, and this is also what we intend to achieve. We want to claim space for Tibet, so Tibetan voices are being heard, that the truth and reality in Tibet is being discussed there and has a room and space to be spoken on about, uninhibited by any, maybe diplomatic reservations by states who do not want to anger China, as they put it. So we are the ones, and I'm very happy about that, in that perspective, that we, time and time again, we have Tibetan experts, colleagues of mine, not just from ICT, but also from other organizations that work on Tibet, who take the floor there to speak about Tibet uninhibited by such diplomatic reservations. And also, I should say, it is requires also some courage by my Tibetan colleagues to speak into the face of the Chinese, who are all the time in the room, and who are, of course, also take the floor and are also challenging, us, of course, not very convincing.
So thank you so much, Kai, for your time today, and thank you for your relentless and unwavering support for Tibet.
Thank you. Thank you too.
Thank you so much for joining us on this interview. I will see you next time.